zinhle Ithala kanye neGo Digital SA Foundation. Thamelani izifundo ze-mathematics, i-accounting, isiZulu ulimi lwasekhaya, isiNgisi, i-FAL, i-physical science, i-geography, ezobuchwepheshe, i-computer applications technology kanye namaklasi e-learner wellness okungukuzilolonga ngokomqondo kanye nomzimba. Lezi zifundo zethulwa nsuku zonke kusukela ngoMsombuluko kuya ngoLwesihlanu kuqala ngehora lesi-4 kuya kwelesihlanu u-4 kuya ku-5 ntambama nangoMgqibelo kusukela ligamanxe ihora lesi-8 8:30 kuze kugamanxe ihora lokuqala emini 1:30. Zithameleni futhi lezi zifundo emsakazweni Ukhozi FM njalo ngoLwesine kusukela ngo-9 kuya ku-10 ebusuku. Ningangena ekhasini lethu lika-Facebook elithi Go Digital SA_movement noma kwi-YouTube uthi Go Digital SA Foundation. Siyethemba nizolijabulela lolu hlelo oluhlose ukunifundisa futhi lulekelele kulokho enikufunda ezikoleni zenu. Luthokozeleni ke lolu hlelo nimeme nabo bonke abanye abafundi bebanga le-12 grade 12 ukuze nabo bazuze kulo futhi nonke nicijeleke ukuphumelela kwizivivinyo zenu zokuphela konyaka.
Sanibonani bafundi baka grade 12. Umesisi Sibiyalo ozobe enza i-English first additional language for this year. I hope ke sizophathana kahle ngalama lessons. Namhlanje ke sizoqala ngayo, sizoqala nje nge-part of paper 2. Paper 2 wethu usually uba ama marks awu 70. Kulama marks awu 70 kuba no 35. Kuyadependa ke ukuthi wena ukhetheni ngenkathi uzobhala i-exam or i-test, because njoba upaper 2 ehlukanisile, khona i-novel, khona ama-poem, khona i-drama, bese khona no-Shakespeare. So it depends ukuthi wena esikoleni ufundani. But kulo 70 ka-paper 2, 35 marks is for whatever okufundile esikoleni. It's either 35 marks or a short story, or 35 marks or a poem, or 35 marks or a novel, or 35 marks or a drama, depending. So bese kwenza ke u-70. So kubaluleke kakhulu ke bafundi ba grade 12 futhi mosuphendula, make sure ukuthi uphendula phela into oyifundile esikoleni or eklasini. Ungathi ungazange uze uyenze poem bese wena vele ujampela kwi-poem because you are gonna lose marks. Yenza lezo lawo ma-sections owenzile esikoleni. Alright, today ke sizoqala nge-poem. Poem yethu esizoyenza ibhalwe one of my favorite authors, uMaya Angelou. Maya Angelou, she's late, akasekho ke emhlabeni. She was born ngomhla ka-4 April 1928, washiya ke ngomhla 28 May 2014, but she's one of my favorite authors. Ngiyamthanda kakhulu lo mama. I-poem ke esizoyenza ithi Still I Rise. Uyabona nje lo still, wathi umuntu I'm still standing. Still means noma ngabe kunjani kodwa nje usamile, kodwa ke yena ke akamile, uthi Still I Rise. Ngizoyisamaraza nje kancane i-poem before siyenze si-analyze. I-poem ke kahle it's directed towards abantu ngesikhathi apartheid kwakhona labantu ekuthiwa ama-oppressors, laba babesicindezela. You remember phela ukuthi uMaya Angelou is an African American, umuntu omnyama kodwa behlala phesheya. So njengoba ithi Still Arise, i-summary ye-poem ukuthi is directed towards those people who were oppressing us, laba ababesicindezela ngesikhathi se-apartheid. Bayaziwa abantu ababesicindezela ukuthi bawobani. So yena ke ukhuluma la ukuthi even though kwakunjalo sicindezelile sinjalo, but yena ama ancestors akhe, abantu ababe before yena, their ancestors were depicted unfairly and dishonestly in history. Shuthi babebekeka kambi ngehistory, but yena uthi ke noma kunjalo yena she will rise above that cruelty. I-cruelty laba beyenza unya ne-suffering ababesicindezela ngayo, that our ancestors they experience. Yena as Umaya Angelou, yena as a poet, she will rise above those the things that they did to the Africans then. So let's read the poem. Still I rise. The poem yethu ke, it's a lyrical poem. A lyrical poem ke yini? What is a lyric? A lyric isuke expressa, ikhombisa the writer's personal feelings in a direct way. Ikhombisa ukuthi umuntu obhalayo ufila kanjani ngaleso sikhathi in a very direct way, akukho akufihlile. It's a lyrical poem and it's got 7 quatrains. Ma quatrains ke ama lines are 4 lines are 7, and then besiba na 2 stanzas ngasekugcineni. And njengoba ngishilo ukuthi it expresses the speaker's feeling about the subject at hand. The subject at hand, in this case, it was oppression that was done then by abantu ababesihlukumeza or abantu abahlukumeza abantu abamnyama. Okay, let me read the poem. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may have tread me in the very dead, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil well pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Do you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the hearts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I'm the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Okay. Lana, this poem, Still I Rise, it's a declaration. Lo muntu lo uyadeclare, it's a declaration of strength and determination. Kusho ukuthi noma ngabe kunjani, yena whatever she believes in, ngeke aze avume ukuthi whatever happened in the past kumcindezele. And there is a refrain, no phindeka la, I'll rise or I'll rise, I will rise and I rise. Because a poem as a whole, it's about racial prejudice. Okay. Let's look at the poem stanza by stanza. See analyze ukuthi ihamba kanjani. First 4 lines, the first quatrain. She says, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may have tread me in the very dead, but still, like dust, I'll rise. When she says you, in the opening of the poem, she is referring to the oppressors. She is referring to history, something that happened in the past. And isikhathi esiningi izinto ebezibhalwa kwi-history, they were not factual. Kwangezona izinto eziyiqiniso. And then umuntu oyibhala history wayengayenza ibe biased, kushuthi favor yena. That is why it may write me down in history. Noma ngabe wawubhaleni ke ngehistory ke akanandaba ke yena ukuthi what happened. So Lana, she addresses the oppressors. Whatever they wrote down in history, kwakuyi opinion yabo leyo. And then uyazi futhi opinion yabo might be biased, might not be true, but uthi ke yena noma ngabe kuthiwa they tread me down in the very dirt. Umuntu ma tread in the dirt shuthi uyanyathela phansi othulini, but uthuli mangabe unyathela ukubona mangabe noma imoto ihamba mayidlula where there is dust kusukwane iyasuka idust inamathele lapha emotweni, noma futhi unyathela ngeenyawo still iyasuka idirt shuthi intuli. So uthi ke naye ke even though they've done this babhala ihistory yabo and whatever, but she says but still, like dust, I will rise. So she gives her heart and soul to declare that no one could oppress her or keep her down, because she will rise. Going on to stanza 2, which is the second quatrain, she says there are rhetorical questions here. Two. Asikhumbuleke futhi again. Rhetorical question. What is a rhetorical question, grade 12? A rhetorical question is a question, it's a figure of speech. It's a question which requires no answer. Umuntu usuke ebuza umbuzo, but njengoba ebuza umbuzo aka expect ukuthi wena umnike impendulo. That is a rhetorical question. We find 2 rhetorical questions there in stanza 2, where she says, does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil well pumping in my living room. Lana, she is confident. When you are sassy, it means you walk with confidence. She says, does my sassiness? She's confident, and then she notices again that ama oppressors lawa khuluma ngawo are worried when she succeeds. That is why she says, does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? If you are beset with gloom, it means you look sad. Because I walk like I've got oil well pumping in my living room. When you've got an oil well pumping in your living room, it means you are very rich. There is a simile there where she says, because I walk like I've got oil well pumping in my living room. She's not worried because she walks with pride and she feels she is successful. Let's move on to stanza 3. Just like moons and like suns, we find similes there. I'm a figure of speech again. Like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. There is an element of assertiveness here. When you are assertive, umuntu may assertive, umuntu osuke sure or sure ukuthi no matter what, umuntu osuke nesiqiniseko ne-confidence ngakuyena, because she says just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like the hopes springing high, still arise. She is sure, she is assertive that she will survive racial prejudice. Akanamsebenzi. And then moving on to stanza 4. Did you want to see me broken? We find again, like we did in stanza 2, we find again the first 2 lines of stanza 2, they were rhetorical questions. And then again in stanza 4, there are 2 rhetorical questions as well. She says, did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Lana, in stanza 4, there is an element, accusation. We have an accuser. Ukuthi kahle kahle nina nifuna ukungibona broken. In other words, nifuna ukungibona ngidabukile. You know, if you are broken, it means ispirit sakho siphansi. That is why ethi ekhuluma ngebowed head. Shuthi mohamba ikhanda libheke phansi namehlo futhi abheke phansi, because lo muntu lo doesn't look happy. udabukile. In other words, akekho happy. But uthi ke noma kunjalo, if mina bengicabanga ukuthi you'll see me broken, that's not going to happen, because still like dust I'll rise. And then moving on to stanza 5, she says, does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my backyard. Uqale lapha ku stanza 2 wakhuluma nge-oil well. I-oil well attached, it is pumping in her living room. I-oil well, if you've got an oil well, niyazi oil, abantu abano-oil, and nawazi amazwe produce oil, which they are very rich. And then again, lapha ku stanza 5, she talks about gold mines. If you've got a gold mine digging in your backyard, it means you are very rich. Awuswele lutho. Again, lapha ku stanza 5 line 1 wakhona, there is a rhetorical question esitholayo futhi when she says, does my haughtiness upset you? Le rhetorical question yakhe, it is also very sarcastic. Uyababhuqa lapha ukuthi do you feel offended? Lana khombisa sengathi she cares for those who resent her success, kodwa futhi akanandaba, because she says, does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard. Kusho ukuthi akuniphathi nje kabi ukuthi mina ngiyashow off, and she's showing her pride, she's showing off her success before the society that has always oppressed her. Ukuthi noma ngabe kunjalo, mina it's like I've got gold mines digging in my backyard. Angisweli lutho. In other words, I am rich. It could be not materially rich, but she is rich ngaphakathi empilweni yakhe, because she has that peace. And then lapha ku stanza 6, she uses metaphors which are very violent. Violent kanjani? She says, you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like I'll rise. No, these metaphors that she has used, kill, shoot, cut, kill, they are violent. They represent violence. So it's not literal ukuthi bazombulala, but if you shoot somebody with the words, usuke lo muntu ukhuluma kanjani naye, usuke ukhuluma in a very harsh way, usukhuluma ngendlela ebuhlungu embi. And then she also says, you may cut me with your eyes. You cannot cut a person with the eyes, it's a metaphor, but you cut a person with your eyes when you give that person a very cruel look. Kumbona umuntu mayizokubuka ubona ukuthi lo muntu ubube ngakwazi kushuthi ngabe usengibulele. And then she also says, you may kill me with your hatefulness. Kill me with your hatefulness, ungangibulala ngokungizonda, but still she doesn't care, because she says, but still like I will rise. Okay, aqhubeke uqale wakhuluma ngesessiness yakhe, waphinda wakhuluma ngehaughtiness yakhe. Now she speaks about her sexiness. Uyabona ukuthi this woman has got confidence. She's sassy, she's hot, and also she talks about her sexiness. She says, does my sexiness upset you? She is sexy. Nyamazi umuntu sex. Angithi dala nithi nani ne sex. Angazi ukuthi uma usex usukunjani. Wena uzongichazela. She says, does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Lana la itone, it's celebratory. Uya celebrate la. She celebrates her sexuality. And then she has got this incredible self-confidence. Ukuthi self-confidence anayo, no one can take it away from me. The joy I have, no one can take it away from me. Naye la, she's got that confidence. Ukuthi confidence yakhe, no one can take it away from her. Noma bethoba mbuka ngendlela enjani akanandaba. Uthi I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Uthi indlela engidansa ngayo ngathi lapha la hlangana khona amathanga akhe angazi ukuthi kuphi kodwa ke it's like she's got diamonds. Uqale wakhuluma ngeoil, wakhuluma ngegold. Now she's got diamonds, which shows ukuthi Lorna, she considers herself as very rich, spiritually and also physical, and nothing can break her, nothing can take away that confidence that she has. And then we've got poem here has got 7 quatrains, which we've just done, and now we're left with 2 stanzas. The last 2 stanzas, she says, out of the hearts of history's shame I rise, up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Lana ke la la usekhuluma ke manje ku stanza 8 uthi the speaker finally refers to the past, because with out of the hearts, heart indlu yakhiwe ngotshani, the hearts, you know, or Rondaville. She says out of the heart of history's shame. So that she speaks about the past, which is the reason she is oppressed and resented to this day. Yena islavery lokugqilazeka ukubiza ngehistory's shame. She calls slavery history's shame. Lapha line 29, she says, out of the heart of history's shame I rise. But futhi still she proclaims that she will not be held down. Uyasho ukuthi up from a past that is rooted in pain. Imumva leli ebelinobuhlungu. Yena uthi still she proclaims that she will not be held down, even if rooted in pain, because she calls herself a black ocean. She's a black woman, angithi. So this is a metaphor. She calls herself a black ocean. She says, I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide. She says she's leaping. When you leap, usukuxhuma, and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Ulwandle, angithi ulwandle kupha makakazi. Now she's like that ocean. She shows la, she wants to depict ufuna ukukhombisa ispirit sokuba free spirited. Ayikho into ezomuthi put down. She says I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling. When you into swella into engathi yavuvukala, I bear in the tide. Uthi noma kuthiwa itide iza injani, but still mina ngiyama, ayikho into ezonginyakazisa. Going on to the last stanza now. She says, leaving behind. When you leave something behind, uyakhohlwa ingemumva. She says, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. The last 3 lines, 41, 42, and 43, there's a repetition there. I rise, I rise, I rise. Ikombisan, there is pride. There is also defiance. She's not breakable. Lana, in the last stanza, ukombisa ukuthi she's taking a clear step forward. Uyamuva ke manje. She's leaving behind the terrors of the past. Ushiya ngemuva zonke lezi zinto ebezimenza aphatheke kabi. And then she speaks about daybreak. Daybreak is makusa. You know when the sun sets. When the sun sets, there is sunshine, there is hope, and then there's also clarity. That is why she says in line 37, into a daybreak that is wondrously clear, I rise. When the malpumilanga, it brings hope. You have a hope for the new day, and also that there is clarity. So lana uya affirma, uyavumelana la ukuthi intention yakhe is to rise above the past. Ufuna ukukhohlwa if past, and fulfill, ufuna ukugcwalisa the dreams and hopes of her slave ancestors. Ufuna ukuthi laba asebahamba ama-ancestors akhe, she wants to fulfill their dreams. And the pain ababeyifila ngaleso sikhathi, ne-suffering which they went through, it drives her to meet her full potential in life. Imenza ukuthi yena-ke afuna ukuthi impilo yakhe igcwalisele, because bona they were not able to do that. So she's doing this on their behalf, ukuthi which they were whatever they were unable to do, she is going to do it for themselves. And we are convinced that she's got the intention of writing each chapter of her life. Usifuna ukuyibhalela yena ngoba lapha eqaleni uthe you may write me down in history, because ngithe history sometimes it's biased. Umuntu ufuna ukubhala lokho akubhalayo, but yena uyibhalela her own history because ukhuluma ngaye. She has the intention of writing each chapter of her life and not letting oppressors write that history for her. She will not be held back by what the oppressors have done to her ancestors. And then no, I rise. It shows pride, ne defiance. She won't be put down. Right. We've analyzed the stanzas. Now let's look at the themes. Athina ma themes ale poem. The first one, which comes to mind, is the first theme is defiance. Defiance, resilience, determination. She defies whatever happens. The poem lana yenzani, it delivers the message. Or a strength, someone to say human being. It delivers the message of the human's incredible strength and ability to overcome hurt. Which no matter how hurt you are, but if you are determined, if you've got this resilience to ubegezela and you defy whatever so the speaker retaliates. We are pinsela. When you retaliate, we are pinsel. She retaliates against discrimination of races and gender. And then also which offers hope for others. Which if she could write this, they can follow in her footsteps. But and there is hope after all. You have suffered racial prejudice, racial oppression. It doesn't mean so despite the lies, amanga, hatred, criticism, director, but you don't give up. She stands up against her enemies. That right. He said there is defiance, resilience, determination, and also gune theme like hope, yethemba. She has been through pain. The speaker has been through pain and suffering. That is past when she talks about the night, but she doesn't allow that to put down. She feels excited about the future. Daybreak. She feels excited about the future because she speaks about the daybreak, which brings the sunshine, which brings clarity. So that Lana is a symbol of hope. To other African women who have gone through pain and oppression, whatever that you have gone through, but to her, there is always a silver lining at the end of the tunnel. Right. And then another theme, racial prejudice. Lana ukhulume opinion of history. It is not a true account of events because umuntu ungayibhalela leyo tafuna uyibhala ngehistory point of view yakhe. So Lana, there is the cruel lies which are informed by racial prejudice. So there is defiance theme, which goes with resilience, determination. There is hope, and also racial prejudice. Themes. There is confidence, there's perseverance. Confidence because despite the hardships, she is confident to rise above her circumstances, which are racially marginalized. Lana, it speaks about her race, but here she rises above. She says, I will rise, I will rise. And also another theme is history, which is history which changes in time. Right. Angithi uMaya Angelou, which is our poet, she's an African American woman who is subjected to slavery. But she is determined to fight back against racial prejudice and the leftovers of slavery that Black Americans have enjoyed for many years. So yena, she wants to rise above all that. Akanandaba ukuthi whatever happened, but yena umilek la emekon. And then I did highlight a few of figurative language, diction and figurative language. For instance, line 7. Line 7, she says, "Cause I walk like," that is a simile. Where I walk like dust I'll rise, like I've got oil wells, like moons, line 9, like moons and like suns, just like hopes, like line 7, falling down like teardrops. All those are similes. I laugh like I've got gold mines, line 19. Line 24, like air I'll rise. I dance like I've got diamonds. All those are similes. So, and also there is imagery. Line 7, because she says, because I walk like I've got oil wells. Lapho oil wells, it's an image of wealth. Kombisa ukuthi lo muntu unjani, rich. And then line 9, just like moons and like suns and air. Lana the imagery depicted la evezwayo image of nature. In nature, which emphasizes invincibility. When you're invincible, it means you have got strength, unamandla, right? And then with sesibalile ama-similes, our highlights and the imagery, and also there are lots of metaphors that have been used in the poem. You may tread me. That is a metaphor, line 3. You want to see me broken. You want to see me emotionally drained. Line 13, you may shoot me. Line 21 to 23, you may shoot me with your words. All those are metaphors. And then line 22, you may cut me with your eyes. That is also a metaphor. I'm a black ocean. Line 33, a black ocean, it is a metaphor as well. And then there is also a hyperbole, line 40. Line 40, she says, I'm the dream and the hope of the slaves. That is a hyperbole. I'm the dream and the hope of the slave. That is a hyperbole. And then going on to the tone. Tone le poem injan. Tone ne mood. Lo mundo ate bala le poem. Tone injan. There is a tone of pride. She's proud of being an African American woman. Also, for a tone that she uses, a tone sarcasm. She is very sarcastic, like in stanza 2 when she says, "Does my sassiness upset you?" There is also a tone of there is triumphant tone. When you have triumphed over something, it means unqobile. You have triumphed. So akanandaba ukuthi she's been racially abused, but she triumphs over that. There is a triumphant tone, and also a tone like defiance. When you defy something, she defies it. And also a tone optimism. When we are optimistic, there is an opposite between optimism and pessimism. When you're optimistic, you look at the brighter side of things. You always hope and look at the brighter side of things. But when you're pessimistic, but it is optimistic. And also again, uyaba accuser. There is an accusatory tone because uyaba accuser for the things that they did. And also, it's also provocative. Uyaba provoker does my sexiness upset you? She wants to provoke them, but still, and also a tone of being certain. There's a tone of certainty, even though kunjalo, out of the hearts of history's shame, up from the past that's rooted in pain. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. So tones is telling there's sarcastic, pride, triumphant, defiance, optimistic, provocative certainty, and also accusatory. She also wants to, or no, not she wants to, but she does. She accuses them of the things that they did to them as a black nation. Kodwa still, njobe pinda lapha in the last 3 lines, she says, I rise, I rise, I rise. In other words, ekugcineni kwakho konke yazi mayethi umuntu bhoso kimang uyenaka ibhoso la, because akalandaba. She says, I rise, I rise, I rise. So ekugcineni she is the one that has triumphed over all. So uyena onqobile, akalandaba what happened. And also she feels like she has revenged suffering. That's what the Yama ancestors, because she says, especially in the last stanza, she says, let me read the last 2 stanzas. She says, out of the heart of history's shame I rise, up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that is wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. So ekugcineni she has triumphed over everything. Whatever the ancestors have suffered, she feels ukuthi no, she has revenged them. Sekwazile ukuthi abaphindiselele. Right. Kune activity la engifuna ukuthi siyenze nje, because isikhathi esiningi it's not about reading the poem. For you to be able to understand ukuthi uyizwile ukuthi ingane, nanokuthi ene you have to know as well how to answer, how to go about answering ama questions. Kubalulekile ukuthi before you answer the questions you have to read. Sometimes meaning is not there. It's you have to transfer it from what you read. Like for instance, when you read the poem, like we've just read the poem, I guess bhekeke la ukuthi when we are doing activity mhlambe ama questions nje angama kanjani. Eyoqala nje question ithi, complete the following sentence by using the words provided in the list. For you not to waste time, kubalekile ke grade 12 mabethi write down only the words. Musuqala phansi ke wena ubhale sentence lonke, because la bathe write down only the words next to the question number. For instance, I asked you question 1. Question 1 uno 1 A, B and C. Lapha ku A, B and C. So when you just write 1A ubhale answer, 1B ubhale answer. Ungabhali yonke into, because I question la ithi, this poem is an example of A, which, B, how the speaker, C. And then they gave you ama answer. Kushuthi lana uyachuza la. They gave you fears, sonnet, lyric, feels, ballad, praises, expresses. And the marks are 3. It's 3 marks. Okay. Kulo 3 marks you write only the words. Shuthi uzothi wena 1A. So the poem ngizokufundela ukuthi ithini question. This poem is an example of A. Uzochuza ke la. Ngithe fears, sonnet, lyric, feels, ballad, praises, expresses, which be how the speaker see. Right. So this poem vele ngiyazi usuphendulile because kade ungilalele. This poem is an example of a lyric. Angithi ngishilo ngathi it's a lyric poem. So you answer A, you just write A lyric, which expresses how the speaker it's how the speaker usuyaqedela ke how the speaker feels. Okay, so it's a lyric poem which expresses how the speaker feels. Okay, line 2, question number 2. To refer to line 4. Line 4 uthini? Uthi but still like dust I'll rise. Kuthiwa lana ke yini ofanele uyenze la? to identify the figure of speech in this line. But still, like dust, I will rise. So obviously, yini figure of speech lapho bese siyenzile vele. The answer is a simile. Bese usuyibhalile ukuthi a simile. Bese ithi question elandela uB wakhona u2B wakhona uthi ke explain chaza ke manje what this figure of speech reveals about the speaker. But still, like dust, I will rise. So explain what this figure of speech reveals about the speaker. It reveals the self-confidence of the speaker, irrespective of hardships that she went through. She is self-confident and is compared to the dust that is low. And dust is the lowest thing on the ground. But it does no more. What does it do? It goes up, especially on windy days. Noma kudlula imoto, noma unyathela. So you can explain ukuthi it shows. It explain the figure of speech. It reveals the self-confidence of the speaker against hardships adlule wona, and also ungasho futhi it's compared to the dust that is low on the ground, but it can still rise up on windy days. Okay, going on to question 3. Question 3 uthi quote 2 consecutive words in stanza 1 to prove the following statement false. When they say quote, please grade 12, make sure that for you to get full marks, the question is quote, make sure that you use your inverted commas to show that you are quoting. Lana, they want only 2 consecutive. If they are consecutive, the 2 words, it means amagama anjani alandelanayo. Quote 2 consecutive words in stanza 1 to prove the following statement false. Okay? Stanza 1, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. So the 2 consecutive words which you are going to write inverted commas is twisted lies. Okay, moving on to question number 4. Refer to line 5. Line 5 utini. Line 5 uti, does my sassiness upset you? Bese bethi choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. Right. Ithi question, the speaker uses dash to show the poet's agony towards you, you lower or refer to our oppressors. So A, you choose between A, B, C, and D. A, uti, imaginary questions. B, symbolic questions. C, rhetorical questions. And D is tricky questions. Going back to the question, it's choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. The speaker uses dash to show the poet's agony towards you. So it is a rhetorical question, and the answer is C. Okay, moving on to number 5. What does the speaker hope to convey by using the simile in stanza 3? Stanza 3, ute, just like moons and like suns, with the setting of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I will rise. The question is, what does the speaker hope to convey? When you convey something, when you convey a message, uyadlulisa ngithi umyalezo. Lana ithiwa ispeaker la, what is she hoping to convey by using this simile in stanza 3? And bese bethi explain fully. Chaza ngokuphelele ukuthi what is she conveying? Imuphi le message afuna ukuyidlulisa. Okay? The speaker wants to show ufuna ukukhombisana la inevitability ukuthi she will survive, uzokwazi to survive prejudice, she will racial prejudice that has been imposed upon her. Okay, number 6, identify the speaker's tone. Sesiwenzile ama tones angithi nakhumbula ukuthi kuno sarcasm, kune triumph, kune pride, kune defiance, triumphant tone, optimistic tone. Ithi ke lana u6, identify the speaker's tone in lines 13 to 16. Okay, let's look at line 13 to 16. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Ithi-ke question, identify the speaker's tone. Tone yakhe injani? There's a tone of pride. There's a tone of self-confidence. It can be pride, it can also be self-confidence. Right, let's move on to the next question. Using your own words, lana bafuna own words, and they wrote it in capital letters. Explain what is meant by the speaker in lines 29 to 32. Let's look at line 29 to 32, and then you're going to use your own words to explain what is meant by the speaker. 29, she says, out of the heart of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. La, they want you to use your own words. You can use your own words and say maybe the speaker refers, Lana, she's referring to a painful past, past that she had to enjoy, but still, painful as it was, she was able to enjoy. And rising to become something greater. So akazange avumele ukuthi oppress imcindezele, but she rose above waya what rise above that hatred, that racial prejudice. Okay, and then number 9, refer to line 33 to 34. I'm a black in the tide. 33 to 34. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. It's a question, Lana. Refer to lines 33 to 34. Identify one, the figure of speech in these lines. Figure of speech that has been used here when she says I'm a black ocean, it is a metaphor. Right. Number 2, explain how the speaker describes herself as having been through a difficult time. Ukhombisa kanjani ukuthi ene kade ethi go through difficulties, kade ethi go through ama difficult times. Ukhombisa ngokuthi the speaker compares, uyaqhathanisa la. She compares the problems she has had to overcome. Ukhuluma ngestormy, the image of a stormy and a vast ocean. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. So still, even though that was difficult, she did overcome the problems to the image of the stormy and the vast ocean. All right. And then another question, Iti. Question number 10. Identify and discuss a theme evident in the last stanza. The last stanza, siphinde sifunde sikhumbuzane, last stanza lana sifuna theme that is evident, ekhombisayo ecacile la in the last stanza. Last stanza uthi, leaving behind nets of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I'm the ocean, I'm the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Right. Yipi theme la that is evident. Theme la that is evident. Theme ye perseverance. Ukuthi she has persevered. Ukwazile ukumelana nayo yonke inkinga, wakwazi, it's perseverance. And also uyichaze le theme ukuthi ikhombisana, it khombisa an individual, umuntu who commits, uyimisele, uyayinikela to persevering and triumphing, ufuna ukuthi over difficult conditions as a result of the internal power. So the power that she has within her, it cannot be broken because ingaphakathi kuyena, and she is ready to overcome. So she has overcome all the difficulties. She has overcome all the racial prejudices that have been happening around her, and also she is an example. Ungathi lana she depicts a hope for the new generation to come. So she has broken the spells She has broken the uwaqashulile nje amaketanga poverty. Sorry, not a poverty. Uwaqashulile breaking the chains of poverty. She has broken the chains of racism. And Lana, she has also prepared the way, because yena uphakathi nendawo, there are ancestors behind her, and then there is her phakathi nendawo, and then phambili kwakhe kune future generation. So whatever spells, racial spells that were done to her ancestors, she's breaking them now, and she's triumphing. So race elandelayo, the future is gonna be more bright. She speaks about the sunshine because now yena usekwazile to break these things or these chains that were put around them. And then uama what is still mawuthi nje still, when you say still it means despite, nevertheless, I am, even so, still I rise. So ayikho into ezongenza ukuthi ngingaphumeleli. Still I'll rise, ngimile, and ayikho into ezonginyakazisa. So we've come to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. And okubalekile ke, it's in me, I get carried away when I love poetry. And a poem, it needs ukuthi wena imind yakho ibe broadened. Don't look at what is written down. Yenze imind yakho iqhubeke travel, and then you ezinye izinto ungakwazi na ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi uyifake kwi-poem. But again, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. We've come to the end of the lesson. Till next time, so phinde sibonane ke grade 12. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Siyathemba nifunde kahle nasithokozela isifundo sethu sanamhlanje enisethulelwe ngezilokotho ezinhle Ithala libambisene neGo Digital SA Foundation. Thamelani ke futhi esilandelayo ngesikhathi sifanayo, ningakhohlwa ukumema nabanye abafundi bebanga le-12 ukuze nabo basizakale kulolu hlelo. Uma ninemibuzo noma nifisa ukuxhumana nathi, ningasithinta ngokufaka imibuzo yenu kwinombolo yethu ye-WhatsApp ethi 068 151 1072. Mfundi, ungakhohlwa ukubhala isifundo obuza ngaso ngaphambi kokubhala umbuzo wakho. Angiyiphinde inamba yethu 068 151 1072. Siyabonga.